Hi everyone, it's Friday the 2nd of July and welcome to Pedalboards Doom Weekly News. We bring you the latest news every week, so if you want to stay up to date, please like and subscribe if you like what you see. We're going to get on with the first news, and it's some pretty interesting news to be fair. Suhr, the people who make the really cool guitars, and they've made some really cool effects before in the past, have released a pedal which is much more complex than anything they've ever done before. We're all familiar with pedals such as the Strymon Timeline and the Boss DD500. Well, what Suhr have brought out for us is something called the Discovery. The Suhr Discovery. Nothing to do with Star Trek, unfortunately. So, on the face of it, we've got a delay pedal which does MIDI. So you've got 127 presets. And, you know, you've got a really big amount of time that you can take it up to, which goes up into seconds rather than milliseconds as well. But what's different about this is it's an analog pedal. Whoa, people might say, well, my digital pedal's got an analog setting. Well, that analog setting is going to be great, I'm sure. But this is for the audiophiles who really love the sound of a nice, warm, authentic analog pedal, analog delay. So this has got all the Bucket Brigade chips in it, and these sort of things must have a huge amount in there because of the amount of time that you can take it up to. There's another point to this pedal as well, which is very, very interesting, and in my mind it justifies the price somewhat. This pedal is also a MIDI controller. So like your Morning Stars and things that you use like your Bosses for and your gig rig pedals for, this can send program change messages and control change messages. So if you want to control the patch of another MIDI pedal, you can with this. And if you want to control the a parameter of the other pedal, so you want to turn your reverb down when you're going to turn your delay up or something like that, you can send a controls change message to do that, and it will. MIDI pedals are quite expensive, so MIDI control pedals are quite expensive, and this has it built in. It's going to be basic, so we've got to appreciate that, but it's still going to be very good. So if you've got a small MIDI board, that's really, really useful. Really, really handy. So I'm just looking, what else have we got? So we've got BPM mode, so where you can turn your time. If you hold down one of the buttons for a little bit longer, it turns it into BPM mode. And Pete Thorne in his video about this was saying that's very useful for being able to match it to such as like a Logic program or whatever DAW you're using. So if you're running at 104 BPM or something strange like that, you can dial your delay in to be exactly right, which is handy. This looks pretty cool. It looks really well built. It's not massive either. It seems to fit into a similar sort of case to the Boss 200 series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. If I manage to get my hands on this, I'll be very, very happy. There's a couple of other controls on it which are interesting. So you can control the speed and the depth of the modulation, which is nice. Apparently you can get that very chorusy as well, which is handy. And there's a filter on it, so you can actually control the low and the high. So you've got a low and a high cut. Very, very nice for, you know, dialing in that analog delay very, very neatly, and then saving that preset, and then maybe having one that's a bit darker. It's more like a reverb delay. Very, very handy. Looks banging. Really does. Quite excited about this, and I've seen on the group a lot of people are like, ooh, this is nice. So yeah, really, really cool. Okay, we're going to move on, and we're going to get serious newsy now, because we're going to talk about Brexit. Aren't you lucky? Okay, so just in case you didn't know, the UK decided in its eternal wisdom to leave the biggest trading bloc in the world, which is the European Union. We thought we'd be better than that for some reason. It's caused nothing but trouble in terms of buying things in from Europe, and no one has seen that more in my group of friends than people buying things from companies like Thomann. So I've seen countless people who have said, well, I bought this thing for £100 and ended up paying £200 or something along those lines, because what we're getting on top is VAT, we're getting fees from the shipping companies for dealing with customs and all these sort of things. it means that when you're buying something from a company like Thomann or anyone over in the EU, if you're living in the UK, the fees that you're paying, you just don't know. It's a bit of a gamble. It's like, what am I going to end up paying? So Thomann have decided to do all the math for us, and on the screen now, when you go to buy something, the prices are going to be quite a lot higher because they're including all the costs involved. That's a really good touch. Bit dangerous for them. I can see why they didn't do it at first, because obviously their prices are going to be comparatively higher to elsewhere. But if it's something you can only get from Thomann, then, you know, at least you know what you're going to be paying. So that's great. Okay. From Brexit to decapitation, let's talk about decapitation. Okay. Headless guitars. There are some great headless guitars out there. It's one of those things that if you've never played one, you never tried it, you're kind of going to be skeptical about it. A lot of people are, but more and more people are playing them. The companies like Strandberg out there who are making these amazing guitars, and companies like Kiesel and so on and so forth, yeah, they're doing an extraordinary amount of guitars for people, because people really like these, especially in communities such as the metal community. Now, what other company specialises in the metal community? Well, let's face it, Ibanez. They've been serving us up for years and years and years, from the likes of Satriani and Vi all the way up to the members of Korn and, you know, Slipknot and all these sorts of things. So we now have headless guitars from Ibanez. It's called the Q series. Don't know why it's called the Q series. Quest series, I think it might stand for, actually. Some of the redeeming features between all of the guitars is they've all got gold frets. Evo gold frets they're called. I don't know if they're real gold frets, but yeah, that's what it says. They've all got lumen lays as well, so they light up in the dark. That's great. And they're all headless, as we've discussed. Now, we'll get the first one out of the way, which is a signature guitar, which is a free single coil guitar. It's from Ichika Nito, and it's free single coils. They are the R1 pickups, and you have 8 pickup variations through various different switching. Looks really cool. So all of them have the same bodywood, which is Nieto, and then all of them have 3-piece necks, which is a combination of maple and babinga. Then you've got to kind of like get your head around these 7 different models. So take the signature model out, leaves us with 6 different models. I've worked out how to clarify this for you. Okay, so if it's called a 52, it's a humbucker guitar, so it's HH. If it's called a 54, it's a HSS. Okay, if it's got Q at the beginning, it's got straight frets. If it's got QX at the beginning, it's got angled frets. So a QX 52 will be with slanted frets and 2 humbuckers. There is one exception to this, which is the QX52 7PB, which has that. So it has the 2 humbuckers and the slanted frets, but it's a 7-string, and it has a poplar bell top as well. None of the others have a fancy top. Then the differences become between the pickups and the well, no, the humbucker pickups are always the let me get this right, the Q58 pickups, and the humbuckers are always the R1 pickups. It's the R1 single coils. I think I've got that right. The ones with the straight frets are Wizard C necks, which are not your traditional Ibanez necks. They're quite comfortable, quite traditional feeling necks. And then you've got the parallel Wizard necks on the ones with the slanted pickups, which are a little bit faster, a little bit of a shallower radius. They look really cool. I've not heard anyone play them yet, and yeah, they don't look the same as the Strandbergs and so on and so forth. They have their own look. It does look to me like something that is going to take a few times to see it, to get used to it. I've been looking at these now since Thursday, and yeah, they seem to be growing on me. Yeah, very, very cool. The humbucker pickups have 10 variations of tone, and the HSS have 9 variations of tone in terms of pickup selections, because they've got a little switch to switch things in parallel and coil tap and so on and so forth. These look really, really cool, so they should be on the screen, or they have been on the screen, so I hope you have a good old look over them and enjoy them. Now, we will pick this up again next week with the latest news, and if you like what you've seen and you want to keep up with everything, please hit the like and subscribe. If there's anything we haven't spoken about you want to hear, let me know. Right, thanks very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.